Hey, welcome to another Valley Forged. Well, I just got done last week with what I would consider a pretty successful craft fair. And I figured I would, give you guys the lowdown. I did almost everything you're going to see. I did on a 20-watt diode laser. Now, in the past, I've worked with much bigger machines, 150-watt lasers. I had two of them to work with, and I figured it was going to be a challenge to try and use a 20-watt diode laser. Now, this isn't all going to be just about laser stuff. I mean, this really goes for anybody who's doing a craft fair. But since I've done many of them and I've taught many people how to sell at craft fairs, I figured, hey, I should probably pass on just some of the things that I've learned. And I hope to do that over time in more and more videos. But I'll give you some good advice in this one. So my first thing I would say is just watch all the YouTube videos you can that are on craft fairs and what to take, what to do. I mean, there are going to be little hidden nuggets in each one. I mean, I just learned not that long ago. I was watching one and it's like, yeah, get a director's chair, a chair that's higher up so that you're engaged, because you can't. The show I just did is two, like 10-hour days. So you can't stand the entire time. I did most of the time. But being able to sit up and, oversee things, it makes you much more engaging. And I found that really worked well. And I just caught that off of one of the videos that I watched. So there's many things that you can learn from watching as many videos as you can, but you're going to forget a lot of it if you don't write it down. So make sure you have something to write down or type in or whatever you want to do to make a list so that you can go through this later, pick the things you want to do, the things you don't want to do, the things that work. Believe me, you're not going to remember everything. And so that's another piece of advice, is just be able to go with the flow. Be nice, meet friends. One of the greatest things that you're going to get out of doing a craft fair is really the people you meet. They will tell you what the best shows are. You could make a good community there. It's wonderful. And it's one of the greatest things about selling in person by doing this online, is it really gives you a chance to create that community of makers and learn and help each other. This is the reason why I love doing it and I love teaching it. And you want to get it organized as much as you can before the show. Now, I stopped doing most of my production at least 3 days before the show because I wanted to concentrate on, hey, do I have my packaging, going through my list, making sure everything is organized and ready. Because if you got a busy show, don't count on there ever being some time. Pretty much for 2 solid days, I was busy every second. People were buying things. And that's a great thing to have. But if I wasn't organized, I even ran out of bags at the end because I didn't expect that it was going to be quite that busy. I sold out of a lot of the things and I had made a lot. But, the other thing that I did was I catered the things that I was selling to the market that I was in. This was a cherry blossom festival. And it was also Mother's Day coming up. So I had 2 things to work with in my head. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make the most of both of those. And in some cases, I'm going to combine them. Now, this was an outdoor tent. And I'm going to say for everybody out there, I made a mistake. I should have gotten a white tent. Now, that wasn't required at this particular event, but a lot of events will require a white tent. So I will put up the one that I did actually buy. I think it's called Crown something, and it was so perfect. I would have just gotten a white one. But the nice thing about this particular tent is you can set it up by yourself in a couple of minutes, and it's so nice, and it comes down really easy. Believe me, I've worked with so many different kinds of tents. I highly recommend this one. It's very strong. I had no trouble with it whatsoever. The price was good, but the fact that you could just walk underneath it and just push it up and the entire thing just pops open, priceless, especially on a busy day, and you don't always have somebody there to help you. One of the nice things is meeting your neighbors and helping each other put up their tents. That's always wonderful. But Maybe you're the person who can go around and help other people with their tents because yours goes up so easy. Now, if you have an outdoor event, the biggest thing you're going to be worried about is weather and the wind blowing. Now, I had a lot of issues with this. It even knocked down one of my tables because the wind just came out of nowhere. Now, make sure that everything is weighted down. And if you're selling something like earrings or pictures or something like that, how are you going to keep them down? I used a little bit of that stuff that you put on the wall to, put things to the wall. It could be like clay or putty or something like that that sticks down and easily comes up if somebody wants to buy an item. That helped a ton. But as far as earrings go, well, you got earring cards. How are they hanging? Are they all going to blow off? I might know this from experience. This was pretty difficult. But then you were saying, oh, well, I just want to do indoor events, which, hey, that's a great idea. Obviously, you want to take the best shows you can. But indoor, there is a lot less to worry about. All you got to have is a table, basically. But one more thing that you're going to want to remember when it comes to doing indoor shows is lighting. If you can get electricity and you can add lighting to your booth compared to everybody else's, it's going to make an enormous difference. Also learned from experience on that one. Another thing that I would say is make your items do the selling for you. A lot of people are worried about, hey, I don't want to have to be that person that's grabbing everybody and pulling them in and things like that. And honestly, when I go to a craft fair, I hate it when the salespeople are being too salesy. So how do you combat that? How do you get it to where you get people to come to your booth, but you don't have to be salesy? And I hardly said a word my entire weekend because my items did the selling for me. And remember, this is a cherry blossom festival. So I found this meme on Etsy and it just cracked me up. So I made a ton of prints on it. And everybody that walked by my tent just busted up laughing. I mean, it was unreal. And I sold hundreds of dollars worth of this print. I had them in frames that I had gotten cheap from sales and garage sales and all kinds of things. And all of them sold. And not only that, it brought so many people to my booth because they saw this meme and they started laughing. And then once they got to my booth, you can see I have lots of very interesting, colorful, different things that really brought people in. Whether you were into earrings, these or Mother's Day, you see I have them combined. I have these cherry blossom earrings combined with Mother's Day cards. I made the boxes. I made everything. I made a video about this that really you can make everything with your laser. I made the boxes, the cards for the earrings. It's so unreal. I just absolutely love lasers and laser engravers. Obviously, like and subscribe if you're into that, or you want to learn more about craft fairs or anything. This channel's growing fast, but it's small enough still to where I can really engage with everyone that asks questions and try to answer them and give the best advice I can. The big seller for me at this fair was actually these Yin Yang Kitty coasters. Now, I've always done well with them, but this is a different version I made. I got some 1/8-inch paddock and all different kinds of hardwoods, and I just mix and match them. I also did the same thing here with these lotus flowers. And you notice I have the Yin Yang Kitty earrings. I have the lotus flower earrings. I have the corgi butt earrings and the corgi butt coasters. You see, all of those did really well. And it's really the same file. It's just making them into different things. I had these coffee signs that I layered. They're just really to bring people in. They're very interesting. They all sold. Another thing that I had was we had the coffee gift cards. And that's something that didn't actually sell. They're gift card holders, both for coffee, and I made special ones for boba as well because I'm at this, mostly Asian centered festival. And everybody loved them. They thought they were refrigerator magnets, though. And even though I had a thing that said gift card holder. So they did okay. But because everything else I had sold just like crazy, so I also made these roses for Mother's Day. And those, every single one that had mom on it sold out. And I made a ton. So that was great. I mean, I feel like pretty much everything that I had in the booth, once I got people to my booth, sold itself. I mean, I wish I made a couple hundred more of the Yin Yang kitty coasters because I could have sold them all. So I probably left $500 to $1,000 on the table just because I sold out of a lot of things. But you can only make so much with a diode laser. And, I had a lot of product, but I can tell you, people were just constantly buying from me, and it's a good feeling. It's a nice feeling. Both shows that I've done in this past year I've sold out of almost everything that I've done. That is a good thing to have, but I just wanted to see what would sell, what wouldn't sell, so I could concentrate on those particular things. I hadn't really done earrings before, and so now I've done, about 5 different kinds of earrings, and I could see what sold and what didn't. Most all of them did. The nice thing about earrings is they have a really good profit margin. But, they do take a little bit of doing, but you can see, I mean, how many of these earrings can you make in one piece of small hardwood? And I use little 1/8-inch hardwoods that I get from Hardwood Edge on Amazon, if you want to check that out, or Craft Closet. Both of those excellent sources. And just, for one $8 piece of wood, you can make a ton of earrings. And so you're selling those for $20, $25 a piece. The amount of money you make is just exponentially better compared to, say, a coaster. But they both have their place, right? So I'm rambling on a little bit, but I want to kind of give you a little context, a little understanding about how it actually went and why I do what I do. But I'm willing to answer questions if they come up. I'm going to miss so many things. I'm just kind of doing an overview this time. But again, make your items, when I go back to that and I say make your items do the selling. So think about this. What are you going to put out that's going to bring people to your booth? That is so important. And think of that before anything else. You're going to have a couple of large versions of something. I had an easel out with with a picture of this meme, and everybody could see it as they walked by. And maybe you should have it in both directions. I happen to be on a corner, so it made it easy for me. Obviously, this isn't going to be the thing for every show, but there's going to be something. I used an example in another video. If you were at a gamer convention and you had a huge dice, a 20-sided dice, and you put that out, and every gamer is going to recognize that as being gaming, and they're going to come to your table. They will. So this is the kind of thing that I mean. Whatever your theme is, have something that is going to catch the attention. If you only learn that one lesson, that's going to make you better than 99% of every other booth out there. So the next thing you just have to do is have something people want to buy, and in the price range that they want to buy, which I've said before in videos. You want to have a good mix, because some people are going to love what you have. They really just can't afford it. So you need keychains, $5 things, coasters, keychains, these sorts of things where people can show you their appreciation for what you make just by buying a little trinket. And believe me, this will happen a lot more than you think. So you can see I started with a wide variety of items. Now, most all of them sold. I was trying to figure out what would sell, what wouldn't sell, so I could concentrate more on that, because you can't make everything. And your booth size is only so big. So you're not going to be able to try anything new if you're completely filled up with items all the time. So for me, these card holders probably didn't do that well. I have a bunch. I'm going to bring them out to other shows, maybe put them for sale on the sale bin. That's another good advice, that you should always have a sale bin. There are certain people who are always just looking for a deal. So you take your seconds, the things that didn't come out perfect. You get a little box. I get mine from the dollar store. It costs $1. Get it as bright and colorful as you can. Throw all your things in there and just discount them instead of worrying about them and letting them pile up in the corner. And there are some people who just see sale and they come over. A lot of times they'll go and they'll buy something else from you, but that's the thing that will get them to your table. We all know people who only go to sales. And, give your items a couple of shows. I just said that about the card holders. I probably should give them a couple more shows because it is inevitable that you think you know what the customer wants, but then the next week, the thing you think is going to sell doesn't sell at all, and something else does. And anybody who does shows on a regular basis will tell you this. You just sometimes don't know what people are going to buy. So it is good to have a nice variety. You don't necessarily have to have it all out. Just have it as backup if, hey, this thing's selling today, so maybe you can put more out. I got these little cellophane bags. They're super cheap on Amazon. For almost everything that I have, I had a different cellophane bag like this. It really keeps everything organized and keeps them from getting scratched. You spend all this time making something, and it only takes a second to ruin it. And probably any of you who are makers out there, you know what I mean. So this works for, the prints that I did, the drawings, the corgi butt coasters, as you can see here. I mean, everything went into these little cellophane bags. You can use other bags when you sell it to add as well. But these things really come in handy. And again, they're really cheap for what they do. And they add a little bit, of professionalism to what's going on. Okay, I think this has gone on long enough, but as you could see, hopefully I put pictures up of, the variety of things that I had to sell and kind of how things were. And I hope you learned something. And my aim is to help you. It's more important than anything else I do on this show. I really want to help other people start their business and do more crafts and obviously pimp lasers because I think they're the greatest thing ever made. So anyways, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Love y'all. So it begins. There's the senior center. Yeah. Should all be filled up soon. Pardon. And that's our spot. Is it a good spot? We're going to find out later. But yeah, all that stuff you see in the distance, I unloaded that. I think it's around 6 something. Hello, good morning. Cherry Blossom Festival, here we come.